The Thousand Moors of Totorak is a good dungeon. Call me insane, but I don't think Totorak should change. This is no out-of-season April Fool's joke. There is a problem with Final Fantasy dungeon design, and Totorak is a dungeon from a different time, and more importantly, a different design philosophy.
Why do you think it's good? It's shit and Leiden's annoying as hell.
I'm getting to that. Yeah, everyone hates Totorak. The slow effect is annoying, and the redesigned version letting some light in makes it really quite pretty. This much is all true.
Then why do you like it?
Shut up. That's the thing. I don't. I think Totorak is a dungeon that is relatively boring, and I dread getting it in my roulettes. So, to me, it really boils down to one question. Can something be good, even if nobody likes it? Dungeons in 14 are the primary content for a lot of players. Not raids, not crafting, but dungeons. 14 has a largely casual player base. Sure, you'll see the Ultimate and Savage Raider here and there, but there are just as many, if not more people, who just hang out, do the content they find difficult, and that's it. This is why the dev team makes such unique and interesting dungeon maps with interesting and fun bosses. Or at least I would like to say. Bosses are usually relatively interesting, but I feel as though Stormblood was the last time they really tried to mix up the formula. Bardam's Metal and Shisui the Violet Tides tried to mix up the boss formula quite a lot with their bosses. One being a puzzle and the other introducing an entirely new mechanic that's never been seen again. But bosses are far from the issue with 14's dungeon philosophy. They're not perfect, but they're not the main issue. That would be the maps. Dungeons, ever since A Realm Reborn, have quickly become more and more stale. Though many are visually quite stunning, they are fundamentally all just a path with some ads and a boss. This is even more clear with Endwalker and Shadowbringers dungeons, as they put walls to inhibit how far you can pull, limiting it to normally 2 ad packs. As an example of some of these dungeons that are just kind of lines, here are 2, the Tower of Zot and Vanispati. These maps are incredibly similar, so much so you didn't even notice that the Tower of Zot map is just Vanispati, and the Vanispati map is Bardam's Metal. To me, this is it's a big problem. And the dungeons could be so much more, even if it's just by reusing mechanics from other dungeons. Using Vanispati as an example, they can make it so that you enter the houses and save some civilians from mobs, and depending on how many you save, you get more chests after the next boss. This, though it sounds unique, is really just combining ideas from Castrum Lacus Latore and Brayflox's Longstop. But we need to circle back. Why is this a problem for Totorak? Totorak isn't extremely high in gimmicks. Hell, the part where the leaden debuff even applies is mostly absent of enemies, making it just a corridor. But the primary fear, from what we've seen of Yassified Totorak, is that they're removing the side areas.
Yeah, hi, Editor Soop here. I was completely fucking right. All they did in this entire dungeon was just get a fucking meat cleaver and take off the side areas. And it sucks. It's so bad. It's so boring. Yeah, they made it look a lot cooler. I'll give them that. But fuck, it's boring. Look at these chests. Look at these fucking chests. It sucks. Compared to the old version, the chests are just in the open. And it's what happened to looking for loot, bro? Oh my god. Oh. Also, fuck you for dropping it early. Back to the video.
One of the only unique things about Totorak. Totorak is special because you can do the first photocell pull in 2 different paths. The more common south path and the less common east path. It's small, but it gives the dungeon so much more character than just being a straight line. Or the lead-in pathway where newer and, hell, even some veteran players get lost in and accidentally go in a side room. And sure, the bosses are far from perfect, but Graphius getting a Vuln stack if you break his tail, combined with the fairly high amount of ads, makes it a fairly fun fight. So even if it's small little things, it gives the dungeon a lot of character, and especially compared to the content that's released nowadays. But I do have to admit, the new Totorak is quite pretty. Letting some light in has made the dungeon look a lot better, but they might just ruin the dungeon as a whole.
They did.
And they're doing little things like that to the rest of the ARR dungeons, such as adding a teleport to Hawk Manor, which, if you ask me, ruins a lot of the dungeon, but I won't get into that. But an entire dungeon overhaul sets a bad precedent and means that they could overhaul others in the future until we only have dungeons that are straight lines, something that I, and hopefully you guys, don't want. But hey, who needs dungeons when you have the best content, Domin Mahjong? Welcome to the outro. It's been a good minute since my last Final Fantasy upload. I got a couple ideas for videos going forward, so this isn't the end. This isn't going to be another 3-month gap between videos. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Come check out my Twitch. I play this game live sometimes, so come hop in. And yeah, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.